So most of the times the problem is that the cursors would slow down the things, and we would use set based logic to do things, and some of the questions would roll around that. So there are examples where cursors are required. You need to call another stored procedure or send an email for every row, or we are doing some maintenance, or sometimes the set based operation does not work. So regardless of the reason you are still using cursor, you should be at least be very careful not to use quite expensive default options. So declare C for cursor, select whatever from. Now again, ad hoc one of task, this is probably just fine, but there are other ways to do that. If you want to run some tests using default and compare them to cursor, such as local, static, read only, first option, there are tons of options, but these are the ones most commonly used as they are applicable to most common types of cursor. So the query I decided to feed with the cursor is very simple. Against SYS object adventure work 2000. This returns 31850 rows on my system, a very humble 2-core system with 4 GB RAM. Then I wrap the query in a cursor with various options and ran the same test measuring total server memory page allocated. So here we are trying to look at how the memory would look like, the duration would look like, and the idea of how cursors are actually taking in the memory, and how to avoid the cursors. Going back to some of the things that we did not talk yet. So a cursor is required in operations where we want to move to a row by row. The retrieve statement return the data underlying the row called fetch, and set operation accomplished within a single statement selects row. So keep in mind the window washer analogy. Let's walk through the step when you clean the cursor. So cursor option, there are 4 sets of cursor options. Static. The static cursor copies the data into a tempdb and DML that occurs in the underlying result. Fails to reflect in cursor data. Key set. A key set cursor is implemented by copying primary key into a tempdb. As the cursor moves to the result set, the cursor will see modification to underlying data, but it will not see new rows. Dynamic cursor is similar to key set cursor in that the cursor can see data modification in the underlying base tables, but it can also see newly inserted and deleted rows. Fast forward cursor provides optimal performance, but only supports the next argument, which only fetches the next row. Other cursor types will be able to fetch the next row, prior row, and so on. Scope of visibility, the cursor is only visible within a batch, and generally it's only visible within a connection. Scrollability, can the fetch statement fetch only the next row or fetch in any direction? The advantage of forward only cursor that it performs faster than a cursor type that can move only in a particular direction. Membership, which rows are member of the cursor, updatability, and so on. So how cursor work, cursor advantages, cursor disadvantages are the other chapters. So the syntax is, again, you declare something, then you say open db cursor, fetch next from, db cursor into while and begin and fetch next from. And let's look at the syntax again. So declare cursor name for select statement. This is transact SQL extended syntax, declares cursor name, and then you do the thing that you want to do. Now they give a very big example to do that. So to produce a big report, but declare when cursor as cursor, select star from purchasing dot vendor, open vending customer, fetch next from vending customer. So this is a simple way, but we talked about how we can shorten this code down and look at only one cursor. So this code is a bit long one. So that code is MSDN cursor, and if you select everything and run it, you would get a big thing. Let me change to, I think it's MS or to. Which is that then? Okay, it's Adventure Works. So did they give here that it's Adventure Work? But never mind. So declare when cursor from select star from cursor, for next from cursor, set counter, declare vendor ID, vendor name, message and product, print vendor products, print vendor report products, Declare vendor ID cursor, select ID from open cursor, while select is this declare, and so on. So I think it should be till here. Yes, so you get a vendor product report, product from vendor, international product from vendor, these are these, and so on. So you are finding out the product from vendor and the product. So there is a cursor inside a cursor. So they gave a query with nested cursor just so that it's more complicated. Now we can actually shorten this query down, and I think I did it for. Okay, I did not shorten it down, but actually we can shorten it down. So we are going to do that. So I'm going to remove the query inside the loop. So this is having two query, one inside the other, and I would try to remove the one that is inside. So uh, open product cursor, and close product cursor, deallocate product cursor. I removed this thing, so I would not get what is inside, and now I'm going to run it to see what I get. If everything went right, I should just get the name, but I think something went wrong by product. Uh, let's see. So we removed product cursor. Okay, declare product cursor. So if I have to declare it, I have to remove it from where it is being declared. And now let me try to run it. So I expect, yes, so I expect the product from vendor just going international and not looping in. So this is a much easier thing. Let's see what it is doing. It says declare vendor ID, vendor name, message, and product ID. Declare vendor cursor for, select this. So it's just selecting this. What would this look like? That is going inside the cursor. It's this, and this order by, and these are all the name. Then it says open vendor cursor, fetch next from vendor cursor into vendor ID and vendor name. So this has just two column, if you remember, and those would be forced to vendor ID and vendor name. While fetch equal to 0, print print like this blank, and select message from print message, and we did not define the message, but message will be plus vendor name, so we'll print vendor name and the message, and that's it. So we are going to loop through everything and get this message name. So this is a very simple example of a cursor. So that was all for my video about the example of cursor from MSDN.